Hello and welcome to another episode of Pony 411. This is episode 71 for the week of September 21st. I'm your co-host Alca7raz, and with me, like normal, is Nemesis.
Shimmer Beaties is one of the best tags on Derpy Brew.
Not as good as Dash Beaties.
That's gross.
Huh. Anyway, we have another discussion, another episode for you today. We were gonna do something this week, but we decided
Push it back
a little bit farther because we'll probably continue what we were doing last week.
Yeah.
Because we had stuff we wanted to talk about. We didn't get around to it because we ran out of time there. So, but we'll have that coming up. But we also have, as usual, a bunch of news and some fan content. So let's get to the news. If you'd like to follow along, and you should, you can find all of our show notes at pony411.libsyn.com/show notes. Go there, find the show notes for this episode, and click all the links and follow along with us. So let's get to this. In convention news, GM Barrow will be attending Nightmare Nights Dallas.
Yet another writer.
Yep, have a whole bunch of writers going to that one, so that looks pretty good.
Right con.
Brony Scott is announcing Affiliate and One Wing Pegasus will be there for their concert. And they'll also have etched glasses with their con mascot.
Remember, this is the one that is gone down to a one-day con.
That's the one that's bringing on down to one day, so. But if you know those two, and you like the music, and you're going, hooray. Sydneigh 2014 convention has been cancelled due to financial reasons. Fortunately, they're only going to be able to refund people who have already paid about 70 cents on the dollar because of a whole bunch of non-refundable stuff that they already had to pay for that they can't get back.
Really strapped for cash. They even dug into their own private funds to try to refund people.
So that sucks for them. Anyone who had already paid for travel and will be kind of there anyway, who now have nothing to do, there's two small meetup convention type things that have taken place, PikaCon and SalvageCon that cropped up. So if you have already paid for flight or whatever and you're going to be there, now you at least have something to do. Yeah.
Basically, the PikaCon, though, is just basically a park meetup. It's very, very low-key. It's not a lot. So just don't go in there with a lot of...
Don't expect a huge amount, but it's better than wandering around getting
mugged. What the heck SalvageCon is exactly... Yeah, people who purchase tickets to Sydney will get in free, so on, so forth. So that's good. Yep. Those who don't have tickets pay $10. So they're just going to try to make a very, very quickly put together convention to replace Sydney.
Yeah, basically, so the people who are showing up have at least something to do, and not just wandering into tickets. To be honest,
getting your airline tickets refunded is a pain.
Most of the time, it won't happen. Most of them won't even do it.
If you can. Yeah, like I said, even if you can, it's a pain.
Yeah.
Or they won't refund you, they'll just try to get you to fly some other time.
Or they'll only give you, like Delta miles if you're with Delta Airlines. They'll refund you
basically
only within their airline. So you can only use it to fly somewhere else.
You get credit, not cash.
Yep. But anyway, those are there if you are going, so. Moving on. Pre-registration for TrotCon is open.
Woohoo, peanut butter.
Yep, and keeping with their magic theme, they've come up with 4 houses that you can be sorted into. It's a little quiz you can take.
House Umbra is the best.
So yeah, if you're looking forward to that, it's open.
Yeah, they have also the dates and stuff and locations for the con. So
yep, they're moving, just not very far, just up the road. Last bit of convention news: Tabitha St. Germain will be joining Tara Strong and Andrea Libman at Stanley's Kamikaze.
Not pony specific, but...
Not pony specific, but hey, well, you put 3 of them into the room, it's going to be pony related.
Duh.
That's just what happens. In fandom news, the 10th installment of the Bronies 2 videos have been released. This one focuses on the Slick family. If you're watching those, there you go, there's the next one. And another bit of interesting news, Journey of the Spark, as we knew it, has been officially cancelled, and Reidenauer has stepped away from the project. However, the voice director of the project, David Doyle, will be picking it up and turning it into an episodic audio drama.
Yeah, so we reported way back when they got their little legal tussle with Hasbro, and they now officially come out and said, that did happen.
It did happen.
Although they downplayed it a little bit, but saying they worked something out, but at this point the damage is already done, so, and that Reidenauer didn't really want to do this anymore anyway, so, changed.
It's dead, now it's something else.
Yep, animation is now just given away to an audio drama, so who knows what's going to happen to that.
No idea. In merchandise news, a Brony costume has shown up on the Xbox Avatar market. It's a Rainbow Dash fursuit.
Alcatraz loves it.
No, I think it's really, really creepy.
Yeah, it doesn't look great.
It's horrible looking. But hey, it's a thing. So
If you want it,
if you want it for some reason, there you go.
please don't buy it.
Please don't. I'm a Rainbow Dash fan, and I wouldn't ever use that.
Yeah, you have the Rainbow Dash pet.
I do have the Rainbow Dash pet. I'm happy with that. I'm not wearing that thing. Anyway, images of the Cutie Mark Magic Brushables line that we talked about earlier have now appeared, and that includes Flower Wishes, Sunset Shimmer, Cadence, Fluttershy, and Pinkie Pie. So, because we reported about it last time, the images weren't up. So,
I think we had images of. I think there were images of.
There was images, a couple of them.
Yeah, Flower Wishes and Pinkie Pie I think were there, but the rest we had nothing.
We have pictures. Yep.
Yeah, so this is the one with the basic cutie marks and other stuff stamped all over the body.
Yep, it's like Cutie Pox, but all the same cutie mark. Speaking of Cutie Mark Magic, and images for a whole bunch of Cutie Mark Magic pop figures have also appeared.
Yes.
So yeah.
Including Cadence, Celestia, Twilight.
Yeah. So there you go. And more images of toys. Images of new Twilight and Pinkie Equestria Girls dolls have shown up. Twilight has Spike as
the
a dog. And Pinkie has Gummy. There you go.
Does human Pinkie having Gummy is confirmed then? We don't know yet.
Maybe. I mean,
I'll find out.
We'll find out.
Maybe.
Yeah. Also,
so if you want Spike the dog.
Spike the dog.
Because that is kind of funny.
Spike the dog like a football. I'm sorry. That was horrible. Anyway, the poster book from San Diego Comic-Con has like 40 of the posters that were available from that convention. It is now showing up at various comic shops.
Yes.
So and that's all of the 40 different ones that you could get and pick up individually.
Adding to the online that was already available. So
yeah, adding on to that.
So if you want to pick it up in person so you don't have to pay shipping,
yay,
go look at your local comic shop. They might have it.
Also showing up in stores, the giant 26-inch Aurora sitting plushies that had shown up on Toy Wiz a while back are also showing up at various stores.
Remember, these are like $100 each.
$100 each.
There's not many of them.
Nope. But if you get it from stores, you don't have to pay for shipping a 26-inch
it's going to be more expensive
plushie.
because they're big.
Yes. So there you go. And speaking of plushies, the new 40E plushies are available on Midtown Comics for pre-order at 20% off. So yeah, they showed up. What was the other website that they showed up for a little bit before?
Atomic Empire.
Atomic Empire.
But they pulled it since then. Because they
don't
know if they can fulfill it. I got emails telling me that my pre-order might not be fulfilled because they got swamped with orders.
That's what happens when EQD posts things. Yeah, and these are almost. I think there's a couple that
except for Celestia and Future Twilight.
Yeah, those ones aren't on the list. But this is
everyone
all
else
of the brand new 40E ones that we've been waiting for.
20% off, so less than $20 for most of them.
Yep.
Except for Luna, who's how much?
48. About 40.
Yeah, 48. I think because I remember it being $12 off or something.
Yeah, it's $12 because that makes sense. On to comic news. A 7-page preview for the new MLP Comic Annual is up. So
which is
that comes
this
out
week.
Yeah,
this week.
Comes out this Wednesday. When do they come up?
Wednesday.
So yeah, if you want to read a couple days early,
or even just a few hours early.
Yeah, there you go. Issue 26 of the MLP comic has been officially announced, and its synopsis we have is as follows. All plans to stop the cattle rustler gang have failed. Hope seems to be in short supply in the small town of Cantor Creek. Luckily, a new sheriff is in town, Applejack.
She throws apples at everyone.
Applejack is a sheriff. That'll be interesting. Continuing in comics, Friends Forever number 12 has been announced, and it's Twilight and Pinkie. Its synopsis is as follows. Pinkie Pie meets her match in the form of delicious, irresistible snacks called phenomenons. Wow. With Pinkie helpless to resist the tasty treats, she enlists help of her friend Twilight. Will Twilight be able to help her friend, or will she succumb to her sweet tooth as well?
Oh dear.
Pinkie Pie learns nature of diabetes. Yay.
And becomes an enabler.
Oh boy. And last of the comic stuff, the Equestria Girls holiday special that we talked about has a synopsis as well. And it is as follows. It's holiday time at Canterlot High. Sunset Shimmer is getting used to life on campus and her new friends. When mean rumors start to circulate, all signs point to Sunset as the source.
Aww.
Will she be able to find the true meaning of the holidays and clear her name?
Dun, dun,
True
dun.
meaning of Christmas. Yes.
Bah humbug.
In Equestria Girls Rainbow Rocks news, there's an unconfirmed report that Rainbow Rocks will be heading to UK theaters this October.
Yeah.
So if you're on that side of the pond and you want to watch it in theaters, possibly you will be able to hear soon. Yahoo TV has shown off a trailer of the upcoming movie as well.
Yeah.
It's got some interesting little tidbits here
Yes,
and there.
quite a few.
Yeah.
Spoilers ahoy! Maud Pierce.
Yep, just shortly, and apparently
It's from her back, but it's definitely her.
Yes, apparently she's terrifying.
Yeah. And there's apparently, as we kind of somewhat guess, sleepover of some sort, and probably at Pinky's house based off Maud's appearance.
Based off, that's what I would assume, yeah.
And yeah, Twilight's there, Sunset's there, the rest of the gang's there.
We're all there.
Yeah, and of course we saw even more like Octavia and
Octavia getting blown away.
yeah, literally
Literally.
by music.
By music.
And there was a bit. Selfies and there was a bit. This is probably the most story relevant thing is we see a bit where Celestia's eyes are glowing green.
Yep.
And it's like the last time we saw that changelings are involved. So I'm wondering if this leads to the theory that the three villains are possibly changelings.
Possibly.
Maybe Chrysalis was the one who banished them out of Equestria.
Yeah.
Did they possibly try to take over the hive or something?
Possibly.
We don't know. We'll find out.
Yep.
If they kind of tease the whole Celestia wasn't the one to banish them, that sounds like it's going to be an important plot point then.
That would be quite interesting. Moving on to Friendship is Magic news. Megan McCarthy has tweeted that the writing for Season 5 is wrapped up.
Hooray!
She also tweeted in that the initials of all the Season 5 writers.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name them all. There's quite a few. So yeah.
Including some new ones.
Yep. At least one.
Well, yeah, one new
At least
one we
one
have not heard
brand
before
new.
recently, and several who have not written for the show until Season 5.
Yep.
And returning faces as well.
And last bit of news, and it's an interesting one. The partnership between Hasbro and Discovery over the Hub channel is over. Discovery will be taking over a little bit more of the programming on that channel. Hasbro will be keeping control of a block of time to air their stuff. What it means for ponies, we're not entirely sure yet.
Yeah. So it's going to be renamed for one. I can't remember. It's like Discovery Family Channel, I think.
Something like that. They're rebranding the channel.
Yeah. They're only going to have a small block, and apparently Hasbro's already in talks with like Time Warner to get stuff on like Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
So let's see, what was it? I'm trying to find Discovery Family. Yeah, that's the new name of the channel.
I don't think we're in any immediate worries about
Yeah.
it. I mean, Ponies does really, really, really well.
It is pretty much the number one show.
Not gonna be going. It's not like they would just get rid of it out of the blue.
I'm trying to remember. There was a mention of what block was of the day was going to be Hasbro's. I think there was anyway.
I vaguely remember that.
It's like it's a morning block, which is where MLP usually airs. So
Yeah.
it's within that. So I think MLP as it stands will be fine right now.
But it might end up moving somewhere else.
Yeah, this
depending on
fourth
how things
quarter.
go.
Yeah, there it is. 9 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Yeah. So that's about where it normally would. It's sort of. It's
That's the middle of the day.
Middle of the day.
And it usually air at
7:30ish.
yeah.
Sometimes at 10:30 though. It was kind of weird.
It depended on what version. I think they go by Eastern time,
Yeah.
which is why on Eastern East Coast it airs at 10:30.
Yeah. So don't think it's going to affect us directly yet. As far as
But
ponies go.
who knows? In the
But-
future, we might see MLP airing on Cartoon Network instead, or
Yep,
something.
or somewhere else. Depends on how things go. So it's something to keep an eye on, but I don't think it's anything to pull pitchforks
We're gonna say goodbye to the Hub logo on your YouTube.
I'll get a different logo.
Yeah, on YouTube videos, because they said that this actually might start happening as early as this fall, or as early as fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So it might be happening soon before season 5 even airs.
Yeah. So it's definitely interesting.
Yeah. Again, we don't know really how this is gonna affect
We don't know.
MLP yet,
Still
but
watching
it's
as well.
gonna have an effect at some point in the future, probably.
Yeah. I don't think we have to worry about anything. It's just something interesting to keep an eye on.
Again, because it's their most highly rated show.
It's not going away. It might just get moved somewhere else.
Online only release, just like Legend of Korra.
That would definitely be interesting. Anyway, that's it for the news. So, like I said at the beginning of this episode, last episode we still had some things that we wanted to talk about. So, instead of doing a blast to the past like we were originally planning on, we're just going to continue on and continue talking about some of the things that we didn't get to.
Yeah.
So,
Equestria Girls.
back
Part 2.
to Equestria Girls. Yeah. So, we kept saying that we thought the movie was all
all
right.
right.
It was
okay.
pretty good. It was
fine.
okay. But then we continued to just kind of bash on it the whole time. So
Yeah.
there were some things we liked.
Yeah, we actually liked.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if we thought it was a watchable movie, we had to like some things. So what kind of things we like?
I think the actual overall story was the overall, not the nitty gritty, not the details, but like the overall thing was actually fine in general. You know, basically, okay, Twilight's crown's stolen, has to go to another world to get it back and save that world and Equestria in the process. That was overall a fine story. That sounds like an interesting story.
Yeah, that's...
So that in of itself was fine. You know, like we said, nitty gritty last week was where things started to fall apart. But also, I think the animation, of course, as usual, was on par. And it was also funny because, you know, this is one of the few almost every cartoon you see, everyone has like 3 fingers or 4 fingers or 3 fingers.
Yeah, you get your classic.
They actually have the full, 5 fingers on each hand.
2 fingers and a thumb is the classic cartoon, I think.
Yeah, or 3 fingers and a thumb. But yeah, they actually have the full 5 fingers, and the animators, a lot of the animators are loving how they could actually animate hands. And of course, some of them are like, I don't know how to do hands anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they got to have that, and so that was... So you see this, and you see like stuff like that. Well, I think one piece of animation in particular I really liked about the movie was when Twilight first goes to the human world. She doesn't know how to walk properly or anything. They didn't have her like yelling about how she can't walk for the most part, but they just showed it, and they just show her walking and standing awkwardly and still not totally getting like she kind of
she stumbles up the stairs and has to pull herself along the railing.
Yeah, or just even later, even after that, she still is not totally... Like, she stood there, and she's kind of standing with her knees inward and bent and her feet pointing inward and stuff, and kind of just keeping some sense of balance. And another point where, like, she's interacting with Fluttershy, and she gets knocked off balance and almost falls over.
Yep.
So it's just kind of... That was actually pretty nice little touches. They didn't really call...
They didn't just... all of a sudden, she knows how to walk perfectly.
Yeah, she slowly, she's still, you see for a while, she's still not sure how to walk on 2 legs.
I think there was a couple points where she was able to, and then she wasn't, but it was minor.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was a nice little touch that they did in there.
Yeah, that was nice. I have to say, though, if you get over the whole magical girl, sun, demon thing at the end, it actually was kind of a cool little end cap to the movie.
It was.
You have to kind of get over it. It's like a little ridiculous. And it probably would have been less ridiculous if things were the way we thought they were. But it still actually is a pretty good little... Even the speech Twilight has is actually pretty good, too.
Yeah, for all it was, for the stuff that we think didn't have to be changed for the reasons we explained, I think they did fairly well. Mm-hmm. As far as writing goes and stuff like that. So, yeah, those parts were definitely the ones that I enjoyed. So... we kept talking about some things that they did wrong. How about a couple of those on what would you have done differently?
Or for one, try to handle that explanation of why the rest can't go to the other world better. There must have been a better way to handle that. Is it like there's not enough power to get that many people through, or it will dramatically shorten the amount of time it'll be open, or something? I mean, all that stuff that's easier to accept. It's like, okay, more people go through the shorter amount of time it's open or something because it takes more power. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Or something.
Well, one thing, I mean, like we did kind of touch on this last episode. The comics came in and kind of massaged that a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit, but...
I think if they could have started out with that, it would have made things better, because it wouldn't have had to do that much massaging. They could have, really set that in. No, having too many people cross immediately causes a weird connection problem, so we want to try and keep this as small as possible. So we don't, suddenly have everyone go over and, suddenly reality is destroyed immediately, or within an hour, or something like that. I mean, or like you're saying, it doesn't have, it'll shorten the time period, or maybe it takes a certain amount of energy to get someone through, and if you push too many through all at once, it'll just immediately shut down, and then you'd be trapped until 30 moons instantly,
or whatever. But I want to go
shatter
back.
Kind of a thing.
One thing actually, I want to go back real quick. Something that popped in my head about something I didn't like was they showed Fluttershy is actually left-handed. They showed that we did when they have hooves. You don't think about it, but someone went back and looked at some of the old stuff, and she tended to favor her left hoof all the time. Like that with Swarm of the Century, she squished the apple for the Parasprites. She used her left hoof. She tends to be left, and now we see it. She's left-handed in the movie, and now apparently with Rainbow Rocks, Trixie is now been shown to left-handed because she plays guitar
Interesting.
lefty flip and everything.
You know, I've never actually noticed that.
Yeah,
That's
it's just something, I thought that was a cool little detail. No, they added it in, they didn't have to, but they did. And it's just one of them is left-handed.
I didn't even realize she was left-handed until you mentioned that.
Because if you look at the bit where they're eating the cafeteria, she's using a fork with her left hand.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
I really do like it when animators and such really pay attention to the little details that no one else would really notice. It really shows that they are paying attention and
they
care about what they're working on. So yeah, that's actually really cool.
And again, another thing I liked was, of course, I guess the whole, we said last week this cafeteria song was great, but not just the song, the whole scene. Was really well done.
Yeah, all the animation and
just even starting off with just using the trays and glasses and stuff.
Of course, the intro to that, the first thing I think is "We Will Rock You."
Yeah, it does sound like that. It does start off sound like "We Will Rock You" by Queen. But it's not.
It's not. But it was good anyway.
Yeah, so that is, as everyone pretty much knows, that it's universally considered the best song in the movie.
And unfortunately, it's also the song that no one can figure out what the name is.
Yeah. The cafeteria song, Twilight Twin the Crown, so on. I've seen very inconsistent naming on that one. It's not even mentioned in the credits, apparently.
Yeah.
Which is really weird.
It
makes me wonder if it was like one of the last songs written.
Maybe.
But
but there were a couple other songs too. I mean, there was the one "This Is Our Big Night." I think was actually it was an alright song.
Okay one.
We featured a remix a while back, but it was an interesting how they split it up. Mm-hmm. So they had the first part and then the reprise afterwards. I thought that was actually kind of cool.
Yeah, that was. I think my second favorite though was the remix of the main theme.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool.
Was played during the opening credits, and then also played again during the Magical Girl transformation.
Yeah,
it still was a really nice little remix, and I wish it's released. Officially. I want it.
Yeah,
I want it with all those sound effects and stuff.
Yeah, really cool. But
and the end credits song was pretty good too. It's also, I think that's probably the third best of the movie songs.
So yeah, great songs.
Except it's weird too because that song, as we now all know, was not the original end credit song.
Oh yeah, apparently.
The end credit song was released later, as we saw, which got a collective, whatever.
It was probably why they changed it.
They swapped it out very last second. And if I recall, it's like the person singing is, I can't remember her name, but it's someone who apparently was on Canadian Idol.
Interesting.
It was a pretty good song, but yeah, replaced a song that was very, very meh.
So it was a good thing.
And of course now it's kind of confusing about who's supposed to be singing it character-wise, and it's like I remember Daniel Ingram saying it was supposed to be like Twilight singing to her human friend, or something initially, but things changed. I don't know. It's like it's hard to identify who's supposed to be singing to who and whatnot.
Yeah, that is a bit interesting.
Another thing about the cafeteria song was just the passing out the ears and tails, and it was very silly, but it's very much a high school thing.
Very
high school spirit. Yeah, that's a thing.
And I'd be the one who'd just look at it and put it off to the side.
Sit in the corner, just
sit in the corner and watch. Like, yep, you have fun. But it was a fun song. It was really well done.
And even if it's one of those songs that doesn't really have an ending either, it kind of fades out. It's one of those songs which is a nightmare sometimes.
Yeah, because the way they did it was... It works because it switched over to sunset and put it into the background.
When you're trying to release it, it's like now you have to decide, do you want to do a hard ending or do you just do the fade out? Because fade out used to be really popular, and it's kind of become
now it's just kind of...
You don't do that really much anymore.
No, we want a good ending to songs.
So yeah, it just kind of... Yeah, you just basically, I remember if you know the 80s songs, tend to just kind of do the chorus over and over again as they fade it out.
Yeah.
This is kind of what it was doing too. It kind of faded.
Kind of lazy to do that.
It's not really lazy. It's just different.
It works, but
anyway, yeah, we just fade out to Sunset's spying on what's all this then, and Snips and Snails, of course, dancing.
Yeah. So yeah, is there anything? I mean, you mentioned the why can't everyone go through? Any other?
Oh, of course, big one. This is my big one. Sunset's presentation as the villain in the movie was very lacking.
Might want to sit down. This might go a while.
Yeah, if you don't know, I really like Sunset, but this move initially I was kind of like, she's okay, but as time went on, I started, you have to kind of dig a bit to really get her personality traits. You have to start digging a little bit, and because it's real difficult, and then you start shoveling at the ground, and so yeah, you have to start digging for it, and it's kind of interesting how they just kind of failed to present a personality. And the thing is, if she's one of the 2 new characters presented in the movie, and of the 2 new characters, she wins as best new character by default, just because she actually has a personality. But
we'll try and avoid talking about Brad more. We do.
Yeah, so the thing is, okay, as we see in the movie, she's a bit of a bully. Okay, a lot of a bully. She's arrogant. She's lust for power. She's a bit jilted from Celestia. Celestia kind of vaguely touched on it, and then the comic really, really fleshed out the character. And I really wish the character fleshing out was done more in the movie itself. In fact, instead of this romantic subplot, why don't we just spend more time on the villain and really explain her motives? And that's another thing, is her motives in general are very impersonal. It's just, I want power. I wish, this is kind of a failed opportunity, and they've shown in the past that they're not adverse to kind of tweaking a character's past a little bit. I mean, we've seen since that they've given Pinky a 3rd sister, and before that they gave Twilight a brother, which no one knew about, and a full sitter, princess full sitter. But it's just, I think they could have made her a better villain just by making her goals and her motives, or not goals, but motives definitely more personal.
Well, more specific,
more personal. And because as of right now, it is just, I want power. That's what it is, basically, which is not a bad motive per se. I mean, that's a lot. That's for like 90% of villains anymore. That's their motive. I want power.
Which actually is kind of cliche at this point.
Yeah, that's why it's 90%. That's why it's. But a lot of villains anymore, even in fiction, everywhere, it's just, I want power, or
give her something else.
But another thing villains often have is, if you notice, villains tend to be kind of childish in that they often get hung up on something in the past, and they just get so hung up on that. Particularly with like superheroes and stuff, it's a villain who got so hung up on something in the past they just can't let go of it, and they just are so focused on that they just are all, I need revenge on this. And I kind of wish they kind of went with that route of, because okay, we have they established Sunset is Celestia's former student, and I wish they did more with that. Because
there's a whole
as it stands, I talked about this briefly. Is like this movie kind of throws a wrench into any sort of coherent timeline, and the reason for that is they have Sunset is a student. They said not long before you, or not long ago, or whatever. I can't remember the exact wording, but they kind of established it wasn't really that long ago, and I kind of wish that what they did was Sunset and Twilight's times as students, as Celestia's, kind of overlap.
Yeah, they do.
Well, they kind of have to, but yeah. I wish they kind of... what I wish, though, is I wish they actually knew each other. Like, and this is just me now kind of going now into improving the movie.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Sunset knows who Twilight is. She just knows who she is. She knows she's a princess, all this stuff, and that kind of goes in the, why does Sunset know this stuff? But I kind of want to... I wish Twilight knew who Sunset was. They recognize each other from the past.
That would definitely be interesting.
And the thing, Sunset steals the crown, and she's chasing after her, and then the cloak comes off when she teleports, and just a recognition of Sunset. Just brief it, Sunset, and then I make it more personal. But basically, Sunset feels replaced, and she sees Twilight. It's Twilight kind of becomes a focus. I mean, it's already kind of implied, but make it more. It's really it's really very lightly implied. It's not really. It's kind of, you have to really,
I think the comics,
dig to get to it.
I
would read the comics, but in the movie, what they could have done is make it personal and really make Twilight or Sunset's focus motivation on Twilight. Like this, you've taken what's mine. Yeah.
I should be in your place.
I should be a princess.
You came in and replaced me.
Yeah, kind of anger at Celestia and Twilight. Celestia for replacing her with Twilight, and Twilight for being the one who's replacing her. And that's part of motivation that would help motivate why she left and why wants this power, is on this power trip and all this stuff. By fleshing it out, I think that would have been helped a lot. Because as it stands, we had to read the comic to really get an idea of her personality.
Yeah.
I mean, we got some of it in the movie, but so much of it was left out, and it almost feels like cutting from the room floor stuff. I really wish they kind of went with that. Okay, they know each other. Let's have it more personal. Heck, let's make it... You can even go as far as saying, oh no, Twilight, that's part of the reason Twilight's so hesitant about making friends, because this other student was kind of cruel at this. We're not saying this is the only reason. I'm not saying only reason why Sunset's bad. But this is she's already kind of going down a bad road, and this was kind of the breaking point. But maybe this is Twilight's why so hesitant about making friends. Maybe she tried to befriend her. This was when she was younger. She tried to befriend this one, and she's kind of just was either she just kind of shrugged her off like, I don't care about you, or was it actually actively mean to Twilight? And that, who knows?
It would definitely give much better meat and story.
Heck, it even, the whole your faithful student thing could be even tied into this a little bit. Accidental puns. I'm sorry, but yeah, the whole your faithful student thing is like it kind of reminding Celestia that I'm not going to abandon you.
Yeah, but
now we're kind of into a crazy. I just think again, just make it more personal. It will help a lot. Just have, especially at the end, just have Sunset just getting nearly breaking down, because I think that kind of helped a little with the iffy evil plan. But just have her kind of breaking down, just start yelling at Twilight about how, again, just you stole this. That's, when Twilight says it's her crown, it's like, this is supposed to be my crown. You stole it from me. I should be the one who has, I should be a princess, all that jazz. And
I think
make it more personal, and I think it would have improved things a lot.
Yes, I'll definitely agree with you. That would definitely have improved things. It would have given the underlying story and the reasonings a lot more stable platform to work off
and also
of.
more oomph.
Yeah,
but because as it stands, it's just I want power because we get
power
hints
hungry.
of it. Yeah, she's just power hungry. She just wants it because she thinks she deserves it. She thinks she's the best, so therefore she should get recognition of that. And that's kind of it's somewhat personal for her, but at the same time it feels very impersonal by tying an existing character into it, which they showed up before. They're not afraid to do. They could have made it a lot better.
Yeah.
Because if Shining wasn't related to Twilight, it would have been a lot less impersonal.
Yeah.
A lot less. And like Candlelight Wedding, that would have been a lot less personal.
Yep.
And it would have been like, who cares? But now they made him her brother,
and a very close brother.
Yeah, and a full sitter who she really dearly loved is the one he's getting married to, and was the one being replaced. It makes it way more personal. Yeah. And not only that, it makes the impact later when she feels betrayed, when she's the one saying she's evil. I know she's evil. There's something wrong here. And when everyone else turns their backs on her, that makes it even harder. That makes it hit harder.
Yes.
So we could have easily made this, even, and then, that could have even made Sunset's redemption hit harder too.
Yeah.
So
that would definitely have been an improvement.
And even, and that's another thing, is this movie also ties into that reminds me, this movie kind of is a reflection of the first 2 episodes of the series.
Yeah.
It's a bit, because you got the meeting, the friends, and even have the conversations very similar between Twilight and Fluttershy when first meeting. Wow,
yeah, it was almost identical.
Except for Twilight, I was like, I already heard the name before. She's like, this is like I've had this conversation before.
Yep. They kind of lampshaded it a little bit there.
Yeah. And even with the the rainbow beam of doom.
Rainbow beam of friendship.
Doom.
Rainbow friendship beam.
Yeah.
Orbital friendship cannon.
Yeah, that thing. It's even that. It's the swirling going up in the sky, coming back down. And
that was, the same sequence used on Nightmare Moon.
Yeah, and all that stuff. It's just very similar. And then the evil person kind of formerly good person who became evil, then becoming good again, because it's not I subscribe to the theory that Sunset was not always evil. There's something catalyst in the past that. And even then, that's another thing they could have done to help flesh her out. Like some catalyst, something caused her to become more increasingly closed off from others and arrogant and all this stuff. And that's, that doesn't excuse her per se, but it's nice. It's kind of helpful to have something like a catalyst that causes her to start going down this road and just keep going down this road.
What it does is it makes her story more believable.
And as a sense, she became an arrogant jerk for no reason.
Yes, you got to give her a
reason. That's another thing the comic did not touch on was about before she was arrogant.
You can always pull Batman and kill her parents. Wow. It works. That's like a common trope. Oh, true, Applejack does. Except she's not evil and arrogant.
Well, not evil, but, she became the Batmare.
The Batmare. That was funny.
But anyway.
So, yeah.
That's just the thing. It's just, I want to see that. I kind of want to see more fleshed out villains in general. I mean, we kind of got... Discord's just kind of the... Actually, that's another general criticism. Like, villains need to be more fleshed out in general.
Yeah.
Guys, it stands, we kind of get exposition and then, okay, they're bad. Go stop them.
Look, Nightmare Moon, we have a fair amount on now.
That was a lot of that was added later, and I'm hoping we kind of get that maybe in Rainbow Rocks.
That's what I was about to say. So you keep wanting to see Sunset fleshed out. What are you hoping to see in the upcoming movie?
Well, I don't think they're going to get too much on, but maybe a little bit of explanation. Okay, why did she why did she become arrogant? Did her parents neglect her? Did she just have was she just because she had no one was, maybe too many people built her up, and she became no one ever told her no or restricted her or anything. So she just kind of, who knows, like we've seen with the Camelot nobles, they tend to have their heads stuck up their own butts.
Yeah.
Because they're not used to being told no or anything. They just think they're the best, and that's because no one has ever told them otherwise.
Yep, and they're used to it's that entitled nature.
Yeah, and she becomes entitled because no one ever,
class.
Maybe did Celestia mess up? Maybe even because we've seen that before. It's like that would be nice. It's like, hey, character for Celestia too. Did she mess it up the first time? And she decided not to mess up so bad again for Twilight. And she kind of, again, as multiple things have implied, Celestia feels like she was the one who messed up with Luna. It's kind of implied that she carries a lot of guilt about having to banish Luna, which is also a point of in a lot of fanfics, but
yeah,
that's fanfics, not canon. And I kind of hope that they kind of explain Sunset. Maybe Sunset's talking to her friends and they kind of come up, so why were you such a jerk? And she kind of explains why and stuff, because it's as I said this on someone actually said stuff about on the YouTube video from last week's episode, was they're just talking about, is Sunset basically the Twilight of Equestria Girls? And I think, yeah, she is. As really so far, she seems to be.
So far, but
who knows? The Magdalene Rainbow Wax might have to throw her back into Equestria. Who knows? We really don't know yet.
Yeah.
But it's like easy to see. Like, she is the warped reflection of Twilight. It's pretty obvious. I mean, even her name's a synonym. Sunset, Shimmer, Twilight, Sparkle. If you haven't figured that out yet, I just blew your mind. Because I'm still seeing that. Some people are just like, oh my God, that's the thing?
Yeah.
But yeah, she's supposed to be the twisted reflection. She is what Twilight could have become if she rejected friendship and all that, which is what Sunset did as well. Because we see in the comics, Sunset rejected friendship. Sunset's just kind of trying to push her, and it's already at this point too late. Sunset's too far gone.
Yeah.
But we see this. She's the twisted reflection. She's what Sunset or Twilight could have become. She's what Twilight could have become. She's all this, potent magic user, extremely intelligent, all that stuff. But she rejected friendship. And similar to like before that, which was Rainbow Dash and Lightning Dust, which was a very similar sort of thing. Lightning Dust was a twisted reflection of Rainbow Dash. And later on, Rarity and Suri, even. Twisted reflection. This is what you could have become.
The
Twilight Zone.
Twilight Zone.
Yep.
You're gonna get smacked.
I hope I'm stepping into the Twilight Zone.
Looking into a broken mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
Which
twisted,
really
cracked, warped, whatever.
Because,
it's a mirror.
Through a mirror.
Literal mirror.
Aha.
Another thing they really should have done, but they're obviously not going to do, is kind of explain how long 30 moons is.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm hoping for, is maybe like a retcon. Because, I mean, we saw in the previews, they have that weird machine hooked up to it.
Use science to open it.
So I'm hoping they're going to use that as a catalyst for, this is what 30 moons is, this is why it hasn't opened. And Twilight, obviously, she was one working on it, figures out a way to open it beforehand.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting. I'm hoping
it's obviously in the crystal.
One.
It's obviously, I'm pretty sure it's in her castle now.
Yeah.
Probably like, I'm going to study it for science.
Study, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
one thing. And yeah, I guess, hoping for Rainbow Rock stuff in general. Like who we want.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I'm not certain how much they can do with any of the other characters. Really, I think most that they can do to expand on characters and such is with Sunset.
Yeah.
So, because I mean, the other characters have we
pretty much know who they are.
They're already established characters, and they really didn't do that much with them. So I'm not entirely certain how much they're going
basically,
to do.
It's like we're supposed to know who they are, and it's like, okay, they're just human versions.
Yeah, it was just enough.
It's one of those. They can either go in two ways. They can either try to show, okay, these how similar they are, or just start slowly putting little things to differentiate them. Like even though they're similar, they're still, because of different life experiences, they're still a little bit different.
No Twilight.
Yeah, they're going to just be different just because they're in a different world. They're in a world with phones and internet and cars and all that stuff. Whereas
you know how the internet changes things.
Yeah, they're in a different world.
So yeah, that would be interesting to see. That's something that would be cool. I'm not certain if they'll do it, that much, because I think that might, if they do it too much, it'll start to detract from the main plot point.
They'll
whatever it
sidetrack
happens to
themselves.
be.
But which is about the deaths.
Yeah, but it might just start to distract from their plot.
Oh, any which way, I'm hearing apparently review copies are out in the wild now, and for reviewers, you can't go find it. Sorry, not yet anyway. Someone's going to do it. I just don't know. This is sneaking suspicion. Someone's going to go ahead and throw it on the internet. But
everything goes on the internet.
And once it's on the internet, it's never going away.
Yep.
But anyway, a lot of people are saying apparently early impressions right now are it's way better than the first one.
And since we said the first one was watchable, yay.
I hope it's really good then.
So yeah.
Although, another thing, what was I hoping? Okay, definitely, of course, more Sunset backstory stuff. We're getting more Sunset, we know that.
Yeah.
We know this. She's obviously pretty important to the movie. A lot of people thought she was going to have a bit part and then be shoved to the side, and that's that.
Yeah, no.
Nope, it looks like she's actually important.
Yep.
I want to see, well, speaking of which, because I said that villains tend to be very glossed, their backstories tend to be kind of glossed over.
Want to see more about these three.
They're interesting already. I want to see more about them.
Yeah, who are they? What's their backstory? Why did they get banished here? Who banished them? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, right now, one of the big theories is they're changelings or something.
That would be really cool to see.
And I actually want to see is, like, are we going to go for a partial redemption? Like, we've seen Sonata.
Yeah, Sonata seems like the most...
Like, we've seen this before. Like, yeah, we've seen villains get redeemed, and we've seen villains not get redeemed. So, it's like, it'd be interesting to see, okay, we got this villain trio. Two of them, nope, they're going to stay villainous, and one of them maybe not so much. Who knows? Another thing, okay, they got this music concept. Let's hope the music's good, although I've heard the album's already out, so...
Yeah, the album's already...
Some people are already kind of...
mixed reviews on the album.
Yeah, so... That's one of those. If you're doing a musical thing, you better be sure your music's good, because I've noticed a lot of people's justification for Magical Mystery Cure is, well, the music's pretty good.
Music is alright. No excuse, though.
But anyway, that's not what we're talking about here. I've already said my piece about Magical Mystery Cure way back when. Go listen to that if you want to hear. But there's also... I'm gonna bring up Flash again, because now we're moving on to Rainbow Rocks. But yes. I'm really hoping they really minimize it. We already seen that he does have a speaking role, but I'm really hoping they do minimize it or correct it in some way. I think at this point, though, problem is first impressions are everything, and his first impression on us was really bad. At this point, they would have to work really hard and spend a lot of the movie trying to fix him, and at that point, that's kind of a waste of time at this point. To be honest, at this point, their best bet is to just kind of, it's going to happen some way. We know there's going to be something going on between Flash and Twilight. Our best hope, though, I think, is to find a way to kind of, well, honestly, and I think they have to do this in the future. They have to sink the ship.
Yeah, I mean, could it really work?
It can't work because
she's supposed to live in a different.
They live in two different worlds. You can't have Twilight live in the human world. That's not going to work.
It's not going to work.
Obviously, because she's in season 5.
Yeah.
And even that, so she's not going to be able to live in the human world, and he's not going to be able to go to the pony world because there's already another him there, and now you're kind of
really, really weird.
Yeah, it'll just get weird.
That would get really weird. So they could use that to have him try and then have her turn him down.
Yeah,
and that would end.
But then
the
of course
ship.
that ends that version of the ship. Unfortunately, there's still a pony version of him around.
Yes,
but. Like I said, they'd have, at this point, it takes so much work to fix the negative perception that I think it's not worth the time. It would have to eclipse the movie to be able to fix it. And that's bad.
I don't know. Maybe he could go back with Sunset, because apparently he had.
No.
That would fix the ship, wouldn't it?
No, that'd break it. That'd make things bad, too.
But they were already dating.
Yeah, but Sunset didn't
and
really
now she's
like
nice
him.
again.
But she never really liked him.
I don't know. Maybe she finds something she likes.
You stop here. I'm going to start putting Flash with Dash.
Oh, God.
Just because they rhyme.
I've seen that.
Just ship Flash with human Trixie. Everything's fine.
What?
It's fine.
Oh, yeah, that'll work.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
So, yeah.
Why not? They're both show people, I guess. They're show folk. So, yeah, that's... I guess... I'm hoping for that kind of... So, I'm really hoping the Flash thing is really minimal. We know he has a speaking role. Please drop the romantic subplot. It's okay if they're friends. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
romantic subplot, please.
Please, it's unnecessary.
It just never worked out.
I think it's just the romantic subplot is unnecessary. It's since they started it in the first movie,
they're going to have to resolve it in some way.
But it has to be resolved. Hopefully, it'll just be they start and she declines or something like that. And in some way, they drop it there.
Yeah, he's obviously going to have a fairly.
But yeah, I think they can do it. They just need to be able to.
I think the movie's about the same length as the first one. I think based on the runtimes I saw in like theatrical listings.
I don't know.
It's not a super long movie. It's not like a 2 or 3 hour movie like we're getting anymore. So you can't put too much in, because you're pushing when you go past an hour and a half of the kids movie. You're pushing the kids' attention span now.
Yeah, you can't pull like a 2001.
Yeah,
or watched last night.
Dark Knight Rises or whatever.
You can't pull 3 hour movies for kids.
Yeah,
Doesn't
you'd have
work.
to split in like 2 movies and have them watch on different days.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping it turns out. I hope this story already sounds like it's more cohesive. Already, we got that, so that's good.
That is good. They're not potentially going, oh crap, now you have to change it because the series.
Now they're established. Okay, now they can go back and maybe fix a couple things here and there.
Yeah. So hopefully this time they don't have to deal with the same potential issues that we theorize that they had last time that caused them to do damaging changes to the storyline to make it work. So hopefully we won't have to deal with that. Hopefully they'll be able to keep it nice and cohesive and even retcon or fix things from the last movie.
Yeah.
So
retcons are okay if it means you're fixing something bad.
Yes. Perfectly fine.
And I think that's pretty much our whole.
I think that's all
we could probably keep going again a little bit. We probably
could poke some stuff, but I'm not sure if we could really extend.
Yeah, and at this point we're kind of starting to run out now. We got it all over systems.
So yeah, there we go. It took 2 times to get through Equestria Girls, and we did. So fan contents, I guess. Next. So I will take the wheel, even though I already have it, and I will start off with some music. First one I have is "Believe" by Respin.
Give up. Oh, I believe, never would. Oh, you believe, bro. You fly without that wing pony. I learned that never give up. Oh, I believe, 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 believe.
This one's very nice and calm, soothing. It uses a bunch of vocal samples from the show. I really did like this one. It was, again, nice and soothing, just nice and relaxing, and it gave me kind of a nostalgic bit to some of the earlier music where we were doing these vocal samples a lot. But I thought it was really, really nice.
This one is a very easy listening song. This is you're not going to be thrashing your head or anything or dancing like a maniac with glow sticks or anything, but you're just gonna
party soft.
It's very soft, party soft. Yeah, it's gonna be it's a very soft, very easy song, very quiet on the quiet side actually. Mm-hmm. And yeah, vocal samples. It is kind of reflective of the old music that was like, okay, now we're not just gonna do that period. It's like, okay, now we're just gonna remix these single songs anymore. We're gonna start sampling now.
Yeah, stuff like Pinkie Pie Swear, where they took a bunch of vocal samples. Not quite
Pinky.
that, but yeah.
But crazy, not so crazy.
Not quite so crazy.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good song. Yeah.
The next one I have is Equestria by Soundspark. It's an original vocal, so it was pretty good. It's upbeat. It still has kind of it's not crazy upbeat, but it's nice and happy and moves along. It's got some wub going on to it, which I did like. It wasn't overbearing on wubs, and it wasn't like, classic dubstep. But I thought it was pretty good. The vocals were fairly good too.
Yeah, this one was a much, much faster song, or I guess energetic song, not faster. Yeah, energetic is the word I'm looking for.
Yep.
But yeah, much a more energetic song in general. It's just, this is more of a, you can dance to it a little bit. Well, this is probably a little bit of a slower one, but still. Also, yeah, this one is the one I think prefer to the two. And also, original vocals, and it's more bombastic in at times. It feels a bit bombastic. I think the visuals also helped with that.
Yeah, possibly.
Because the YouTube videos has really good visuals.
Yeah, nice spacey visuals too.
It also sound a bit like a pop song, but with EDM stuff overlapping it.
Yep.
Yeah, so I guess like most of the more recent pop songs, it's just a bit pop, but you got EDM stuff creeping into pop songs. So
where people are figuring out how to properly use the dubby wubs and
so
not just overbearing.
It's actually
with
a pretty fun little song.
Yeah.
I think it's the better of the two.
I'll have to agree with you, though sometimes I kind of favor the softer ones depending on...
Yeah, it's not so much about soft. It's not about soft or anything. It's just more, I think this one's just a better song.
Right. So that's the only two I got for today, and I'm going to pass it back to you for your fanfics.
Yeah, I got 2 this week. Make up for last week.
2.
Yeah. One of them, this actually ties into Equestria Girls. Hey, what do you know?
Yeah,
this one is called, the first one is called Twilight Falls, Sunset Dawns by Drake Clawfang. And this one, it's a bit interesting. It's basically, Twilight wants to study the mirror. The mirror.
The mirror.
And while Sunset comes back and kind of tussles a little with Twilight, but she wants to, what she wants to do is she's looking for a spell. She wants to kind of, I guess, reset her life.
Yeah.
She didn't like how her life turned out for various reasons. And she wants to reset it. After not finding anything, though, she does find something else, which is a body swap. And she's like, who has everything I want?
What were we just talking about earlier in this podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically she swaps bodies with Twilight. And, of course, no one believes Twilight's in Sunset's body. And Twilight gets locked up and basically sent to more or less exile of a sort, but not really.
Sort of, not really.
It's a house arrest, but someone else's house.
It makes sense when you read the context.
Yeah, and it's just this other pony obviously has a
established
history
relationship with
Sunset, and they obviously do not like each other.
Yeah.
So it's not complete. 6 chapters in, and I'm hoping it updates semi-frequently. So I'm hoping I don't get jinxed it by featuring. This used to happen half the time, but. Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. It's just kind of an alternate take on Sunset post Equestria Girls, because as this author admitted, this is going to pretty much ignore Rainbow Rocks, because Rainbow Rocks is going in a completely different direction.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's also kind of believable. Like, basically, this is a Sunset who, after Twilight left in the first movie, she tried to befriend the other 5, and the problem was she felt rejected by them because of how things went down eventually. She felt rejected. And she's trying to slide back into her old ways.
Yeah.
So overall, what do you think, though?
I thought it was all right. I think a couple points probably it felt like it was getting a little bit long in the tooth. It was a lot to read, and we really haven't 6 chapters in, and so far it's been groundwork. 6 chapters in, and mainly it's just groundwork.
I think it's pretty much just gonna be a long story.
So. Yeah, it felt a little bit long-winded for 6 chapters and haven't hit any major points other than the initial conflict.
Yeah, so
but what's there is pretty darn good actually.
Yeah,
it's just
I will say one thing I think the title works a little too hard trying to be clever with the names. It works trying to work a little too hard, but. Also, there's a couple things. I'm not really afraid of doing spoilers because it's not finished. So anything I talk about, it doesn't necessarily reflect on the end. But I noticed at one point, Sunset in Twilight's body was talking to Luna, and Luna's giving her a look, and Sunset's freaking out like, oh god, she knows. And I think it's implying Luna does know something's wrong. I think that the trip up was she, as Twilight, referred to Princess Celestia as just Celestia, not Princess. That's a thing. Tick that Twilight's had for a long time, she just says princess. Even after becoming a princess herself, she still just refers to Celestia as princess. And Sunset said Celestia, so that might be one of the things that gave it away, but also Luna dreamwalks.
Yeah, one thing though, I might actually clash on you, because later in what's-his-face house, Twilight in Sunset's body refers to Celestia by first name basis.
I don't know. That might be. But anyway, it seems to be implied Luna knows.
But yeah,
something's
it doesn't specifically say what Luna is saying that's off. But Applejack's knowing something.
Yeah, Applejack's knowing because she's the Omniscient.
Because
she knows something's wrong. She doesn't know what it is, but she knows Twilight is hiding something. She didn't know that Twilight's not Twilight, but she knows something is wrong, and she's gonna get to the bottom of it.
Yep.
Because that's what.
So it's definitely interesting. I'm curious to see where it's going to go.
Yeah, it might be a long one.
Apparently, as his author note says, the next chapter that goes up is going to be a big one.
Oh, fun. So yeah, it might be okay. He's established the groundwork in Malwyn, and we're probably going into the actual.
He says in the author's notes for the
because as we saw at the end of this most recent chapter is the Twilight's also planning something right now.
Yep.
Something with chemicals.
Something. So,
say her name.
Apparently, that's going to earn its sad tag.
Oh boy, yeah, that's
so
what
we'll
we're
see.
I think we're going to possibly see Sunset's backstory.
So we'll see what that goes. I am definitely interested.
Yeah. Good. Anyway, my other fic is "Letting Go" by Chironia. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right because it's not exactly a standard name. Anyway, this one has a sad tag, and it earns it. It's sad. I'm trying to figure out how to talk about it without really getting. I think I have to kind of spoil something. But basically, the main six are fighting some force. It's not fully explained because that's not the point.
Yeah,
it's a force. It's some necromantic force, and it's going after the Tree of Harmony, and they have to save it. And the problem is, there's so much necromantic magic built up that has to go somewhere. And they sacrifice themselves to stop it.
Yep.
And the rest of the fic is them dealing with.
Letting go and saying goodbye.
Saying goodbye, because they're, And just read it. It's kind of, it hits you.
It does.
It's pretty emotional at times.
I've read a couple that are similar, but nothing quite like this that goes through all of them. And goes through that. It was, like you said, it hits you.
And especially with this one, it's like, this is not them dying of old age, having lived a full life. This is them being fairly young and having to sacrifice their life.
Yep. Because most of them that I have written is just, they're old.
Mm-hmm.
They've passed on. So those are more peaceful. This one's a lot harder hitting. But it was good.
Yeah.
Did have a couple grammar and spelling mistakes.
But
that didn't detract. Not enough to really detract from it.
Yeah. Still recommended. Unless you really are adverse to sad things, which don't do it.
Yeah,
if you really hate sad stuff, don't touch it.
I've read sadder, but if this kind of sad thing hits you, yeah.
It can get you.
So
that's it.
That's yours. So that brings us to the end of our episode. So I hope you liked what you heard, and I hope you continue to listen to us again. If you want to find this episode again, or any of our other episodes or future episodes when they come out, you can find them all at pony411.libsyn.com. We're also on iTunes. Just search for Pony411. You can subscribe there and have it auto-download or whatever. You can also find us on YouTube, youtube.com/pony411. So go leave us comments on our episodes there, such like that. You can also listen to us on Ponyville FM. We air every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. So tune in, listen there. If you would like to get a hold of us, you can email us. We are pony411podcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter. We're at pony411. So follow us, tweet us. We will respond. We're also on Facebook. That's facebook.com/pony411. So go like us there, leave comments or whatever. You can also get a hold of us personally on Twitter. I'm at Alca7raz_ with a 7 instead of a T, and he's at Nemesis Prime 1.
I changed my avatar.
He did. I did not. So yes, get a hold of us if you want to. Send us comments, questions, whatever. And we hope you tune in next time.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, it's Rainbow Rocks.
No, not spoilers. Yes, we just can't stop with Equestria Girls, can't we? But yes, until next week, please remember, please pony responsibly.
Human responsibly.
Anyway, good night.